To ask the Scottish Executive what the total actual reduction in CO2 tonnage has been from projects receiving grants from the Climate Challenge Fund.
Minister.
The reported reduction in CO2 from the Climate Challenge Fund so far is 128,357 tonnes of savings. This figure is from community groups in receipt of CCF fundings who have submitted final reports of the awards in the period 2008-2011. It by no means represents the total savings which will ultimately be achieved.
John Pentland.
Can I thank the Minister for that reply? Can the Minister then tell me, have you stopped using the total based on estimates for projects, some of which have produced little or no actual savings, despite contributing hundreds of thousands of tonnes to the figures quoted by the First Minister and others?
Minister.
I'm very optimistic, in fact, that the mix of projects that we've been supporting through the first 8 rounds of the Climate Challenge Fund and those projects we're supporting in round 9 recently announced will give us a very substantial figure indeed. But I do simply want to remind members here that when I was before committee in the last session of Parliament, I did make the point that not every project will deliver on its promise because we're trying to be innovative and challenge. And on that basis, we will have projects that will succeed, the overwhelming majority, and we will have some which teach us something that is a negative sense, that it's not a way forward. And it's important to realise 100% success will not be achieved. But the 700,000 tonne figure that we've previously reported remains the figure for which we're shooting.
Brief supplementary, Patrick Harvey.
Thank you. I'm glad the Minister emphasises the creative, experimental and empowering nature of the fund. This is exactly what we had in mind when we persuaded the Government to adopt this policy in the first place. But can he say what can be done to minimise the risk that projects, including small projects, are left very vulnerable when they lose funding at short notice? How can we ensure the sustainability of the projects that are coming through as a result of the CCF funding?
Minister.
Let me acknowledge the role that Patrick played in setting up the Climate Challenge Fund in the first place. It was not insignificant. And indeed, we will, in looking through the panel, which is independent of ministers at projects, always seek to identify those projects with the greatest chance of delivering what they promise. So we do have a process to minimise. I think on the issue of the ending of funding, it is very important, and we do stress to people to whom we grant through the Climate Challenge Fund, that it is a time-limited grant with no guarantee of any kind of successor funding from the same or other sources. But I think overwhelmingly we've seen that this has been a very successful scheme and one for which the member should take some of the credit.